listen to this. I just went and handed in my marriage forms with Zeke. So with that, starting today, I am now his wife.
Really? How wonderful.
And not just that. Zeke told me that today would also be our anniversary since we started dating, and so he got me this gorgeous and delicious cake. I was already so happy to be married to him and all, but he went that extra mile and had this cake made for me by a very famous patissier. He told me that the man is a very good friend of his, so he was able to make this cake for me without any planning in advance. The fact that my husband would get something like that done for me on a day like today has just made me feel so blessed.
I suppose so. I'm so happy to see you being loved by my ex like that. And the fact that you get to enjoy a cake from a famous patissier. How amazing. You have just been having so much fun with the man you stole from your own friend, right?
Hey, Ariel, stop trying to make everything about you all the time. Can't you see that your friend just got married to the man she's been in love with for so long now? I would just really appreciate it if you were just a bit more kind to me and celebrated a day like today.
Don't expect me to shut up and let you rub that life of yours in my face now. Who the hell would want to celebrate a backstabbing whore like you anyway? If anything, the thing we should be talking about right now is you paying me that settlement.
I'm sorry. I'm leaving all of that in the hands of Zeke to pay off. I have no idea what he's doing with the money right now, so you can't really ask me anything about it.
I sure can ask you because you have to pay me a settlement as well. You're really going to make him pay it all off for you.
Well, of course I am. Zeke happens to run a whole freaking company as the CEO after all. And men like that are loaded with money, right?
Huh?
I don't have that kind of money on me right now. And I just quit the job I had in order to become his wife. That's why I won't be able to pay you any kind of settlement right now. The only thing I'm able to do right now is sit next to my wonderful husband and laugh at all his jokes and show him my most pretty smiles. He's giving me a life of luxury, and also the least I can do is make sure he sees just how beautiful of a woman I am.
Hold on a second. A life of luxury? Is that what you just said?
That's right. That amazing cake wasn't the only thing Zeke prepared for me today. In order to make me the most happy woman in the world, he prepared for me the most wonderful mansion to move into. That's why at this moment we are getting into his really fancy car, and we'll be driving out to that mansion and moving in.
Huh?
He loves me so much that I'm almost feeling suffocated. Not only did I get a really special cake, but I'm also getting to live in this massive mansion with him. And above all that, he seems to be madly in love with me. So I'd have to say, I've won the game of life. Thank you so much for letting your husband throw you away at the time in order to marry me. My dream of living in a giant mansion with a CEO is finally going to come true.
I'm the one who's the CEO, though.
What?
I'm sorry to have to break this to you while you're flying in the clouds, but before you finish off that delicious cake he's gotten for you, would you please get a taste of reality? I know you're probably too euphoric right now for me to be able to get all the information into that head of yours, but you need to know something.
What reality are you talking about? I know for a fact that Zeke is the CEO. He happens to run Accounting Central and goes into work every day to make sure the company is doing well.
No, the one in charge of running Accounting Central would be me. It's the company I run right now, making me the CEO of it. And I'll have you know that with the divorce, Zeke lost his job and is now unemployed.
Huh? That's your company? Not only that, what? Zeke lost his job there.
Well, to be completely honest, he used to be the CEO of this company. Him and I worked together to run this company as husband and wife, per se.
You both worked together?
There are plenty of companies in the world that have two people running them, or even a whole board running them. And as for Accounting Central, I was the one that built the company from the bottom up. But as it began to grow larger and larger, I needed more help and had to rely on more people to join me in making things possible. That's when Zeke ended up quitting his previous job that he had before working with me and came over to give me a hand. Since we were both committed to one another at the time, I thought the best option would be to make myself and him the CEO of the company by splitting control over things.
Is that right?
But then Zeke started to go out and have fun with you. And that was soon followed by us getting a divorce. Of course, with a divorce, there would be no way for us to work together anymore, so I had him removed from the company. At the time, he was going on about how he deserved part of the company, or at least a part of the profits for the rest of his life. But the thing is, the company was always all mine, and therefore I get to decide what he keeps and what he loses. And considering he was cheating on me and led us to get divorced, I chose to not give him much of anything. And then that led to a very smooth firing of Zeke.
Well, what? Wait a second. I never heard anything about that from Zeke before. He's always been going on about how he's the one running the company. And multiple times now he's told me it's his company.
I'm not saying he doesn't continue to say that the company is his. But the truth is, the company was never his, and he was only working at the top in order to help his wife, the true owner and CEO. And right now, all he really is an unemployed jerk. He doesn't run anything anymore and only holds the title of being a cheating little jobless idiot.
Then what about the mansion he's promised me? The mansion that him and I are supposedly moving into today? There's no way he can afford a mansion if he's unemployed now, right? And, wait a second. What about the settlement we have to pay you? Zeke is going to pay for me as well, right?
I have no idea about all of that. How about you ask the man sitting next to you in the car driving?
I'm too scared to ask him something like that.
Well, when it came to the life we had together, we were both living in your average apartment. I get that we were both running a company, but even then we were just living in a 2-bedroom apartment that was just under 1,000 square feet.
What? Are you kidding me? I thought that you and him had been living in some kind of penthouse downtown or something.
If we had been running a large company together, I'm sure that would be the case. But this company isn't that large yet. We were just making enough to afford to live in a decent apartment downtown is all. No way we were going to afford some penthouse. So I really wonder where the jobless Zeke is taking you to right now. He was never able to live in anything like a mansion back when he had a job running a company.
What the hell? I'm scared right now, Arya. Where the hell is he taking me right now? We should be going to a mansion right now to finish off this lovely cake, right? Starting tomorrow, I should be living the life of a celebrity, right?
Oh, look at you getting all excited and worked up at the same time. Now you have a wonderful time with your new husband.
You've really done it this time, telling Penelope about how I'm unemployed right now. Because of that, she started to yell at me while we were driving to let her out of my car.
The only problem I see here is that you were hiding all of that from your new wife that you only just got married to. So tell me, where were you planning to take her away to? She was told that you were taking her to this massive mansion you bought for her. No matter how I tried to think about it, there's no way you could afford a place like that.
I was taking her to my parents' house. After having to try and calm her down while driving another hour, we finally arrived here.
Huh? You took her to your parents' house?
I wasn't lying about anything to her. Look, my parents happen to have a rather large house. Because of how large it is, most of the people in this town like to call it the mansion on Jefferson Street.
Even if it's not completely a lie, there is still no way things are going to work out for you. You had been telling her that the two of you would be moving into a mansion, yet it's turned out to be her new in-laws' house. You both only just got married, so no matter how hard you try and stretch things, in her eyes, I'm not sure she's wanting to live with her in-laws yet.
We would only have to be living with my parents for a little while. Just a little while. Look, I have a few things I need to fix in my life, and that requires my parents to be around to support me. That's why I brought her here, to live for a little bit.
And what did Penelope say to an excuse like that? She thought you were a CEO, yet you have no job. And she thought you were taking her to a mansion to live together in, but it's turned out to be her in-laws' house. I'm sure she's livid right now, huh?
What about that one, Aria? Look, I know you might be feeling upset still, after being stabbed in the back by the both of us, but right now she's very happy with the way things have turned out.
What?
Look, at first she was pretty pissed saying that I'd lied to her, but after explaining everything to her, she became very happy. That when she learned that my parents' house is really this big, she started to go on about how this house and the land are all hers. Started to ask me just how much money the both of my parents would be passing on to her when they die. Seeing her get all excited like that made my heart skip a few beats, actually. Also, after explaining to her what my next job would be, she almost passed out due to joy.
Oh, so you've already decided where you'll be working next?
I have. Right after you had me fired from your company, my friend hit me up asking if I wanted to work for him. He's in need of some help right now, so I'll be the perfect option for his company.
That's amazing, Zeke. Now that you'll be getting another job here soon, you can finally pay me the settlements I've been asking you and Penelope for. I have been waiting for so long now, and I'm getting very impatient with the both of you.
Don't get so worked up over it. Look, once I become the next director there, I'll give you whatever you've asked us for. Look, honestly, I'll give you double what you've asked for since I kept you waiting.
Well, that would be wonderful. I guess you really have found yourself a well-paying job.
Well, this is the kind of income a director like myself is expected to be making after all. Next month, I'll be joining my friend in his company, and there'll be a ceremony held for me joining as the new director. Then I'll be helping my friend grow his company with him, and making even more than I was before with you. Then I can take Penelope with me and we can move into the mansion I promised her. I'll have the dream mansion she's been wanting for so long built just the way she wants it.
That would make her so happy, wouldn't it?
Once they have the new mansion built and we moved in, I'll invite you to the housewarming party as well. I'll show you the loser that you are, just how happy my new wife and I are, living in such a modern and gorgeous mansion.
Hey, listen to this. The place that Zeke ended up taking me to happens to be his parents' house.
I heard all about that from him yesterday. I thought you were going to be pissed off with him, but you actually turned out to be really happy.
Well, at first I was shocked at what was going on, but when I found out that both the house and the land would be mine, I forgave him. I never thought that Zeke was going to be the successor of two very rich parents and would be getting all of this to himself. Also, it so happens that his parents have a lot of other assets that we'll be given access to after they are gone. After seeing just how much money there is in all of this, I don't mind spending a little time living together with his parents after all.
How much money there is? You've been looking at all the things his parents have and their values? Great job.
Are you getting all jealous of me now or something? I don't care how much all of this hurts you, because I'm the one who ended up with everything here.
Huh?
It really sucks to be you, Arya. Not only does this husband of mine love me so much more than he ever loved you, but he's willing to let me have everything his parents leave behind. Oh, who cares that you happen to run some small little company like that? Compared to all the money and assets my husband and I will be getting, you are nothing, and your company is nothing.
You're calling my very important company nothing now?
Don't try and act all tough just because you're a CEO. compared to you, I've come out above you by miles. I mean, I happen to have a husband that will soon be a very high-up director and has all of these things just waiting around to become mine.
All of those things will soon become mine, you mean?
What?
I was just sitting here quietly waiting to see just how far you were going to take things. But I told you yesterday to take a really good look at reality, right? Yet you still haven't settled down to do so, and are only making yourself look like even more of an idiot. Could that cake you had yesterday been a little too much sugar for you?
Hey, what the hell do you mean all of this will be yours? Stop saying such BS right now.
I'm just speaking the truth is all.
No way that could be true. Why the hell would all the things his parents own become yours? You are his ex-wife and have nothing to do with him now. All you are is a stranger. So how would you ever get any of the things his parents own?
I'm getting all of those things because that's the promise we made.
The promise you made?
Are either of Zeke's parents around you right now?
Right now they are out in the living room taking over some things. They asked me to come and join them because it's about something important.
Then maybe you should go and join them in that discussion. I'm sure that right now Zeke is being told the reality of the situation and what will be happening from here on out. A lot of it has to be about how I'm the owner of that house and its land.
Huh? Did you just say you're the owner of this house?
Now you go and listen in on the details from your in-laws, please. I have a lot of work going on today, so I have to get going.
What is all this about, Arya? You own both my parents' house and the land the house is on. I won't allow that to be the case.
Whether or not you'll allow it, the documents hold the truth. And the truth is, I own them both. As your parents have already told you, they both wanted me to own the house and its land. I was asking them to find a way to get their son to pay me the settlement I was asking for. And they came to me saying that they were sorry for what you had done and offered their house and everything to me.
I heard about that from them, but I had no reason to believe all that. I never thought that my parents would give up the rights to their house and everything. They never said anything about something like that going on. And from what else I've heard, when buying their house, they relied on you to do all the accounting. They even had you taking out the loan for him in order to afford that place. Why did you never tell me anything about all of that? Why did they never tell me?
I'm sure it had something to do with their pride as your parents. They even told me to keep all that had been going on a secret from you. They understood that if you found out about what had been going on, you would most likely get upset with them.
No way.
I knew that as your wife, it wasn't good to keep secrets from you such as that. But considering it was your parents asking me to not tell you, I couldn't say no. And they were the ones I was getting business from, as I was their accountant. So I definitely wouldn't want to lose their trust.
With the way things are going, I'm not going to get anything from them. Look, if I'm able to get you the money you've been asking for, then you'll give them back that house and the land, right?
Well, of course. I'm just holding on to the house right now as a way of making sure I have some sort of value coming from you guys. Although, if you don't get that money to me soon, I will keep this house and all for good, and will most likely sell it for more than I'm asking for in the settlement. So as long as you pay me the amount that I've asked for these next few months, then I promise you all that you'll get the house back.
Really?
But you will be able to get all that money that I've asked from you on time this time, right? From what I've seen already out of you, I'm not sure you will be able to. But what do you think? Will you be all right?
What? What do you mean you're not sure about me paying you back?
Have you been listening to anything your parents have said to you? They told you about how much I've been asking for from you on top of the settlement, right? Back when they took out that loan through me for the house, they were never able to pay it all back to me. And so I told them during our divorce just to have you pay the remainder back to me in the settlement. But you never paid me anything. And so they have been begging me to allow an extension on when I want the money. But I've already told them it's not going to happen now.
What? I never knew about that either. I just thought I was having to pay you the original settlement and that was all.
Well, that's not at all the case here. But it's starting to sound more and more like I'll be getting to keep this house and land that I've acquired, right? I would much rather have the money I asked for, but if I'm able to time things out just right, I could sell the house and land for even more than I was asking you all for.
No, hold on a second. Whenever I talked with my parents about their new place, they always told me they had everything under control and had it all paid off. They lied to me. And when I asked them about who they got the loan through, they just lied to me and told me some local bank.
I hope you're not getting too upset with your parents right now.
I'm going to talk with my parents right now.
Oh, what should I do? Aria? I was just calling to go and see Zeke a second ago. He told me that from here on out we're going to have to live here with his parents. Forever.
What? But didn't he say he only planned to stay with them for a little bit before his new job?
He says that things aren't going so well for his parents now, so we're all going to have to live together. He also told me about how his parents made some mistakes when buying this place, and that's made things even worse for us. After asking him how much money we needed to get out of this mess, he told me far more than even his salary will be able to pay. He then told me about how your parents were trying to get this house sold by renovating it and all that, but nobody would take it off their hands. So now, in order to help them with their losses and for us to still have a place to live, we're going to have to live here, with them, and to hand our money over.
Oh my. I thought after hearing something like that you would have made a run for the hills to escape Zeke and his family. But you are being one very special wife by sticking by his side in order to support him in his family's time of need. I'm sure he's still very worried, though, about how things will play out. So make sure to take good care of him.
I'm the one freaking out right now, though. I was told that if you don't get the money you've asked for here soon, the house and the land will all be yours forever, right? There's no way the things that are all supposed to be mine have to go and be taken away by you.
Well, it's Zeke's parents' fault for not paying off all the money I was owed by them. So would you stop whining about all of that to me when you should be talking with them right now?
Huh?
Also, it doesn't really matter to me anymore that they didn't pay me everything back, as they left that to their son to do in the divorce. I mean, the plan was to have him take all their things from them after they died, including their debt. So, on top of the settlements I'm still owed, he should be paying me the remainder of whatever his parents forgot about. Luckily, Zeke will be able to pay all of that to me, right? I mean, he's going to work for his friend now as a director and will be making massive amounts of money. He'll be able to take care of everything for both you and his parents without even having to break a sweat, right? But remember, there is a deadline to all of that, so he'd better make it quick.
What do you mean he'll be a director at his friend's company? All of that vanished and he's not going to become anything now. He lied about all of that to me, so he's still going to be an unemployed jerk.
Are you serious?
It's not that he lied, but the guy he called his friend stabbed him in the back, even though he was the one that asked for Zeke to join him in the first place. That guy is the real liar in this situation. He won't let Zeke come and join the company anymore. He said some stupid crap about how he thought Zeke had experience running a company, but that he was wrong. He then followed that by saying Zeke must have just helped run your company in practice, because in reality he had no clue what he was doing.
Wow. Poor old Zeke.
There's no way someone could do that to their friend. I was so happy to see my husband becoming a director. I needed him to become one in order to get us out of this situation.
I'm sure you did. You have been so worried about paying off your in-laws' debt to me as well as getting this house and land back that I received from them in exchange. And like I've been saying time and time again, you guys will also have to pay me that settlement I've been asking again and again for. You have so many things to be worried about now.
I know that! Everything is going to hell here! We need money right now more than ever. Right now they are trying so hard to get any bit of money they can. They've started to sell all their antiques. And those expensive things that are supposed to become mine in the future are all going away. And they aren't even handing any of the money they get for them to me, instead using it to pay off all the smaller debts they've had. I'm not getting a single penny out of any of this.
Hold on now. Those guys have been in debt to others besides just myself?
That's right. Zeke's parents have borrowed money from all kinds of people in order to try and make their lives better. But now that they need to start paying all of that money back, they have been selling literally everything.
Wow. I can't believe it. Then how are things going for them right now? Are they going to be able to avoid being hit by higher interest rates and things like that?
Not at all. They can barely make enough money right now to pay off anything. And pretty soon here they will have no more momentum. There is no way this family is making it out of here alive. I can already tell what the end will look like. This family and everything they have with them will fail!
Whew, you poor thing. Especially when the people you just became family to are trying too hard to keep their heads above water right now.
Hey, please, Aria. I want to get away from Zeke and his family as soon as possible. Would you come and get me from here? I need your help getting me out of here.
What? You can't just run away from all your problems like that. You happen to be part of that family now. Your husband is trying so hard right now to make things work, so you have to be there to support him. Your job as his wife is to be by his side laughing and smiling for him, right?
With the way things are right now, I can't smile at all. Please, Aria, help me. If I can't get away from all of them now, I'm going to burn in hell just like them!
Well, as long as you go to hell along with them, you'll have someone to keep you company. It'll be the four of you, all paying for the sins you all committed. So now that you're aware of that, you all have the best of luck paying off your debts. For starters, maybe work on paying off the settlements you and Zeke owe me, please. Although Zeke and his parents tried their best, they weren't bringing in nearly enough money to pay off all the debt they were in. I myself was a little bit worried about if they'd ever pay me the settlement or not, but after a few months' worth of payments, I got all the money I wanted from those two. However, having already paid her part of the settlement, Penelope later started texting me asking to give back the money she gave me because things were even worse for her. I'm sure things really did get worse for her and everyone else, considering her husband was still jobless and both her in-laws still in debt. I would have loved to help her get out of such a pickle. But my heart can only be so loving. And so I did the only thing I could for her. And that was blocking her number. I did, however, end up giving them the house and land back, since I got the settlement I had asked for. But from what I heard out of other people's mouths, they were never able to pay off everything, and are no longer living in that house. Apparently, they ended up selling the house for half the amount it was worth. All while Penelope sat in the yard screaming her head off about how something like this was never supposed to happen. As of right now, that very unfortunate family of four is living in a studio apartment, having to sleep alone on the hard floor together like a can of sardines.
Martha, hello. I've heard from Cody that it seems as though you'll be helping us pay for our wedding.
That's right. I've been saving up money for a while now just for your guys' wedding. But I wouldn't say the amount I'll be pitching in is a whole lot. I had just enough, hopefully, to take some of the load off your guys' backs for a little while. So please take this money and spend it on whatever part of the wedding you'd like.
Is that right? I'm sure it won't be a lot of money coming from you, considering you're just living on Social Security and a part-time job now. Really, with that small amount of money you'll be giving us, it probably won't feel like you've contributed anything at all.
What?
If you really want for us to take that measly money off your hands, then we have no choice but to do so. But don't start thinking you're all that just because you gave us some money. You're not going to be getting the best of me by handing over pocket change to us for the wedding.
I would never try to get the best of you, Ivy. I'm just giving you guys this money as a way of saying thank you and showing my appreciation for the wedding you'll both be throwing. I really hope you'll understand that none of that money is meant to upset you in any way. You don't worry about a thing, and just use the money I give you, please.
Are you sure about that? But to be honest with you, I really hope that later on you don't start to whine and complain after we've taken your money. You're the one giving us this money to celebrate after all, so there better be nothing out of you come the time we have our wedding. All right?
I would never complain or say anything to upset you guys before or during your wedding. I want the both of you to really enjoy your special day together. And since I'm the mother of your soon-to-be husband, I really want you both to be happy. That money is to go towards your wedding, and is nothing tied to it that would make me begin to talk over you or anything. So please, take it and don't get the wrong idea.
Don't you ever forget what you just said to me then. And as evidence of what you just told me, I'm taking screenshots of this whole conversation in case I ever need them. So there'd better be nothing out of you come the time of our wedding.
I promise you I won't say a word.
And one other thing about me, I am not the kind of person who gives back to those that hand me gifts and presents. So just because you've given me some money, don't expect any kind of gifts in return. Now, I'll be going.
Hello, Zoe. I happen to have something I'd like to talk to you about regarding my son and Ivy. Have you heard anything from her yet about the wedding?
What? You're talking about Ivy?
You know, about how Cody and Ivy will be having a wedding very soon here, right? Well, I just thought I'd give them some money that they can use on the wedding as a form of celebrating the two of them, but for some reason Ivy doesn't seem to believe that the money I want to give them is just a gift. So I was wondering if you've heard anything from her about what's been going on here.
I'm sorry, but I don't even have Ivy's phone number or anything, so I don't ever hear from her. As of right now, there's really no way for me to even get in touch with her.
Oh, was that right? Then could you perhaps go and ask Cody about this and see what he thinks about her behavior? I got all of this money together to give them for their wedding, but Ivy seems to think that it's some form of me trying to get the edge over her and use that money as leverage or something. So I'm kind of thinking it's better I don't give them any money at all.
What? You're telling me that Ivy thinks the gift you're giving to them is some form of you trying to mess with her?
Well, she's never said that to me directly, but by the way she was acting towards me after bringing the money up, she was not at all happy. Actually, she seemed to think that giving her and Cody that money would give me a big head.
But when it comes to money for the wedding, it's a gift, right? And you're planning to pay for most of their wedding, if not all of it, with the money you have, right? You even gave us a lot of money for our wedding when we had it, right?
That's right. This money, just like what I gave you both, is meant for the wedding so you both don't have to be as stressed about paying for it. When I had spoken with Cody about his wedding, he said it would cost them around $30,000. I'm glad I had enough in my savings to pretty much cover all of those costs.
You're giving them $30,000 then for their wedding? That's about the same amount you gave us for our wedding, right?
That's because of you guys that I've been working hard and saving up lots of money for years now. Back when I got married to my husband, we both didn't have anything in terms of savings, so we were never able to have a wedding. I don't want the same thing happening with my sons, and that's why I've made sure to save up a lot of money for both of their weddings. That's why I was able to give you both close to $30,000 for your wedding, and I'll do the same for Cody and Ivy.
But even if you don't want us to miss out on having a wedding, handing over $30,000 to both your sons for their weddings is crazy. I don't mean that in a bad way, by the way. It's just, how can someone like Ivy get so upset over you giving that kind of money for the wedding? She should be so happy to get all of that from you. Back when you handed that amount of money to me for our wedding, I was crying with joy.
Oh, you were?
Of course I was. That was the first time I had ever gotten so much money for anything, and I never expected it to come for our wedding. I was shaking when you handed us the check that day. But hearing how you felt about that money in our wedding now, I feel even more happy and can see just how nice of a person you are. After getting that money from you, both your son and I knew we had to give a very amazing wedding for you all. So I'm really hoping that when Ivy receives that money, she'll feel the same as I did.
I really am hoping the same thing. I do wonder how she'll react to that kind of a gift from me, though.
I think you're just overthinking things right now, Martha. Also, Ivy did say that she'd be taking that gift from you, right?
Yes, she did. But she told me not to expect anything in return for it. And also she warned me not to open my mouth or complain after giving her that money.
Or perhaps it's just difficult for her to be emotional around you and she wasn't able to say thanks without feeling embarrassed. I mean, getting as large of an amount of money as that would shock a lot of people and make them freeze up. I'm sure we'll learn just how happy she is about your gift to her later on. Just think of her as someone that had a difficult time showing her emotions, and that should help you feel better about it.
That's what I'll do then. There are people like that in the world after all.
There sure are. So I don't think you should get too worked up about the way she reacted. I mean, there's no way she would actually hate someone who's giving her $30,000 for that wedding, right? Anybody who could still hate after receiving a gift like that doesn't deserve to have that gift given to them at all.
Thank you so much for saying that, Zoe. You're always so positive, and that kind of positivity helps me out so often.
I love sharing my happiness and positivity. And I'm getting really excited about the wedding that Cody and Ivy will be having. On that day, would you like to come with your son and I to their wedding?
Oh, that would be perfect. I guess I'll be seeing you before the wedding then.
Martha, why are you looking like that? You've really done a great job coming to our wedding in such cheap clothing as that.
What? You think this clothing is cheap? I thought this brand of dress was pretty high-end, but...
Normally, the mother of the groom should be coming to his wedding wearing something a bit more flashy than that, right? My mom made sure to come in her bedazzled green dress so that she could show everyone that she's just as important as the bride today. Yet in your case, that simple and cheap-looking dress is very...
But this is what I was told by Cody. He said that today would be a casual wedding, so there was no need for me to dress up too much. And a flashy green dress may be a little too casual in some cases. At least with this dress, it's a little bit more business casual and it carries memories that my family loved to cherish. Memories of my late husband, my boy's late father.
Come on now. You really think I'm going to listen to an excuse like that? Just because Cody told you this was a casual wedding, you should still be coming in something as beautiful as my mom's dress.
Are you kidding me?
Would you at least apologize to me for what you've done? Tell me that you didn't have the money to afford a high-end and flashy dress like my mom bought. Then I might be able to forgive you.
What?
I'm sure for you, you don't have the money to be able to afford a dress such as the one my mom has on. After all, the only money you're bringing in is from your Social Security and your part-time job, right? Now, you come over to me and apologize saying you didn't have any money to buy yourself a decent dress for today. Please come apologize to me right now. I want you to apologize for not even having a hint of common sense in that stupid head of yours.
Why do I have to be the one to apologize to you? I was told that we could dress casually today, so that's what I did. However, you're continuing to make fun of me for being poor and not having the same amount of money as your mother. And now asking me to apologize for all of that. You're being a little too rude to your own mother-in-law right now.
What? Are you starting to get mad at me now? You're the one that came here with zero common sense wearing that cheap dress. If that's how you're going to act after making such a stupid mistake, then I have no time for you anymore. Can I ask you to leave this place and go home now?
Excuse me?
I didn't even want you to be here today, yet I invited you anyway. And after that small bit of kindness from me, you didn't even follow the dress code and are getting mad at me over your mistake. I will not have that kind of childish behavior at my wedding. So please go home right now.
What do you mean you didn't even want me here today? Are you really telling me that you didn't want to invite me to this wedding today?
Of course I am. Who would want to invite a lowlife like you to their wedding?
What?
I happen to really love your son a lot, but as for you, I don't care at all for you. Actually, I really, really hate your guts. Your son Cody was able to graduate from a very famous university over in the UK and is now working for a world-class company. Yet his mother has to live off of the government's money and a part-time wage. I'm sure that also means you'd like to start getting a piece of your son's income here soon, right? I'm sure you think it would be a good idea to start asking for some money from your son right now, right?
I have no reason to be thinking something like that. I happen to have enough money right now to support myself and just do the part-time job to have a little extra spending money for myself. Also, I've been working for the company I'm at for a very long time now, even though I'm only part-time. I'm making more than most starting employees there.
I'm not going to believe any of that for even a second. Especially when I can tell that you are looking to ask us for money the second we get married, all right? I really hate people that think that they can just take others' money like you, all because they are poor and have nothing.
And like I've told you, I have no plans of taking any of your guys' money.
I'm going to be marrying Cody today, but I do not want to have anything to do with a monster like you. Actually, I would like to make some distance between you and I after today. That's the reason why I didn't want you around me today. Yet you have continued to say you have a present for us, even though you have literally no money to spare. I just wanted to see what this gift you have for us might be out of curiosity. And that's the only reason I went ahead and invited you today.
No way.
It would be too rude of me to ask you to come here only for your present and then send you home, right? But seeing you walk in wearing the most trashy dress I have ever seen has changed my mind completely. I guess poor people like you don't only lack money, but manners and common sense as well. A moneyless woman who can't even afford a proper dress for this wedding needs to stay the hell away from here.
Then I guess I won't be paying for this wedding.
Say whatever you like. That money you planned to give us as a gift for this wedding wasn't going to be that much anyway. So go right ahead and take that money you prepared from us and go the hell away, please. You can take that pocket change and use it to care for yourself in your old age, actually. It's not like Cody or I will be around to give you any money or time as you become old and senile.
I never had any plans of relying on you two as I become older. But now that you've said things like that, I have no other choice but to leave the both of you alone. I'm taking back the $30,000 I planned to give you both for the wedding. Now that I have this kind of money to spare, I might get myself a nice wheelchair when it's too hard for me to walk anymore.
What? 30,000?
I should start looking into some old folks' homes as well. That'll suit me better since I have extra money now. With $30,000 all to myself, I might even be able to afford a room down in one of those luxury homes in Florida. Then I'll be in good care with all that sun and warmth that Florida provides, while also having access to the beautiful beach and ocean.
Oh, hold on, please. What do you mean you're taking back the $30,000 you were giving us?
You know what I mean by that, Ivy. That's the money I was planning to give you guys in order to pay for the whole entire wedding. You're planning on paying for the wedding today, right? After the wedding is over? That's why before today I asked Cody how much your wedding would cost you both roughly. He told me it would be around $30,000, so that's what I had prepared for the two of you to use.
You brought $30,000 for us to use in paying for the wedding? What? You came to our wedding today carrying that kind of money on you to help us pay for everything?
I did. My poor little moneyless self saved up all that money for both of you. So I'm not sure why you're so shocked about that now.
You're lying, right? Why were you, of all people, able to save up that kind of money as a gift for our wedding? And actually, I never even heard about how you'd be paying for our whole wedding today.
I don't have the patience to explain to a misbehaving child like yourself the plans I had in mind for your wedding. Now I'm going to take the $30,000 check I'd written out for the both of you and go home. Goodbye, Ivy. Please enjoy your special wedding day.
I am so sorry, Martha. I just heard about everything from Cody just a second ago. You were really planning to pay off our whole wedding for us as a present? I knew that you were going to give us money as a present and all, but I seriously didn't think you'd be giving us $30,000 so that we could pay for this whole event. I was just thinking you'd give us $100 at the very most.
I thought that's what you were thinking. I was going to tell you until today that I'd been giving you this kind of money, but I never expected you to act so poorly towards me because you had no idea it was coming yet. And all that talk about hating the idea of getting money from me for something that I was trying to take advantage of you or something. I really had no idea what all that was about and thought you were just having a hard time expressing yourself to me.
Can you please come back to the wedding right now? Right now, everyone is waiting for you to come back here. We won't start the wedding until you come back here, Martha.
You don't have to worry about me anymore. I wouldn't want to be there ruining things for you anyway. I mean, like you were saying, my dress is not appropriate for the occasion, right? So go ahead and start the wedding now. Because I'll not be going back there.
Don't say something like that, and please come back here. It's not just me asking this from you, but your son as well. Also, without the money you were going to be giving us, we won't be able to enjoy this wedding today.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. We have to pay for the wedding right after the event is all finished with. Of course we'll be receiving money from other guests today, including my parents, but we won't be able to pay for the whole wedding with the money we receive from everyone unless you give your gift to us as well.
Cody was expecting me to bring this money as well today, right? So you both don't have the money you need to pay for this wedding. I know that Cody doesn't, as I can see his savings right now and see that there's not even half the amount he needs for that wedding.
I'm aware of that, and you are right. We don't have the money to afford this wedding right now. And today is a Sunday, so none of the banks are open allowing us to get an advance of any kind. So please, would you come back here with that money right now?
I'm not going back there for sure now.
Come on.
Now you have a wonderful wedding and good luck paying for it after.
Wait a second, please. You can't leave us like this, Martha. That's horrible. You had promised to give us that money for the wedding, right? Yet now you're going to break that promise and leave us with nothing?
You're going to say that I'm the one breaking this promise after kicking me out of there? The only reason you want me back there now is because I have a check for $30,000. If I was really only planning to give you $500, you would never be begging for me to come back right now, right?
But I had no idea how much you were going to give us, but now that I know, you can come back here. I understand now that I probably should have waited to see how much you'd give us before kicking you out, and I totally understand you not wanting to come back here after what I said to you. Honestly, you don't have to come back here and watch the wedding if you don't want to, but at least give us that money, gosh dang it. I heard that you paid for your younger son's whole wedding when he got married, right? I actually heard all about that from Cody.
Well, that's correct. I did end up paying for their whole wedding, and they were both so happy to receive that kind of money from me.
Well, you should be paying for both of your sons' weddings then. So if you give them enough money to pay for their wedding, then you need to come back here and pay for ours as well. I don't care if you stay for the wedding or not, but you at least need to give us that money so things can be fair. So what you're saying is that if we pay Martha the amount she gave us for our wedding back right now, she doesn't need to go back to your wedding and pay for you both, right? If that's the case, then we will give her all that money she gave us back right now. What? We were kind of wondering why Martha just left the wedding without saying a word about it to us, so we followed her out. I can't believe this is what's been going on once we caught up to her and found out. I never knew you were that kind of a monster, Ivy. There's no way that's you, Zoe. If you feel so worried about things being fair between the two brothers, then we'll hand Martha all that money back that she spent on our wedding so that things can be even for you again. She handed us $30,000 for our wedding as well, so we'll send that to her bank account right now. Once she has that money back, then things will be A-okay, right? Then Martha won't have to worry about giving any of her money to some ungrateful monster like yourself anymore, right? What? Actually, I've been talking with my husband about this for a while now. About how we should give something to Martha in return for how generous she was to us. That's when my husband brought up a very good idea. We would both start saving money for when Martha decided to retire. And so far, we've saved up just a little over $30,000 for her to use. What did you say? Of course, most of that money we saved up was due to my husband. Ever since his father passed away years ago, his mom, Martha, has been doing so much for both him and Cody. So as a way of saying thanks, we've been saving up money to give her once she's older in need of some support. My husband has been saving up money for her longer than I have, ever since the day his father died, actually. I only started to save up for her after I married him. And you both have so far been able to save up $30,000 for her? Yes. So we'll be giving that to Martha now. She happened to give us $30,000 for our wedding as a gift, so it'll be like she never gave us that money at all. And you won't have to cry about things being unfair anymore. And she won't have to give you her money anymore either. But that's not good for us. You have no right doing things like that without my permission when you're married to the younger brother. If you give her back that money that you received for your wedding, then she's going to give us nothing. Honestly, I don't think you deserve to get any money from her. People that like to crush others' feelings like you don't have a right to their generosity anymore. Ivy, to put it bluntly, you're a total bitch. What? What the hell did you just call me? Why are you not siding with me right now when we're both married into this family? She's not your real mom or anything. Let me ask you this then. Why should I be siding with you right now? For the longest time now, I only help those that are kind and have an open heart to others. What? Are you trying to say that you don't want to help me out then? Right on the money. I happen to really love Martha, and I do not like seeing her be hurt by people like you. So there's no way I'll be helping you out in any way. And now that you're aware of that, I'm heading home as well. What? You're going home now too? I would hate to have Martha going home all on her own today. So both myself and my husband will accompany her home. He told me he's getting a taxi for us right now. Wait a second. Both you and your husband are going home now as well? You can't do that to me. You're the only one that seems to be upset over our choice right now. Martha, myself, and my husband are all totally okay with this decision we've made. So with that, goodbye. Please, Martha, would you please come back to the wedding venue? I want to apologize to you for everything I've done and said to you. If you don't come here, then my wedding will be completely ruined.
Oh no, what's happened now, Ivy? Nothing terrible should have happened to you. It was just some moneyless old woman and a young couple that left your wedding. How could that have caused you any problems for you?
Because you all left this wedding, everyone is up in arms and is asking that the wedding be ended. And even the wedding venue staff, they want to end this wedding because everyone is wanting to leave now. And when I asked them if we could pay for this wedding tomorrow instead of today, they started to give me really nasty looks. We won't be able to have this wedding if you don't come back here right now.
You're fine. You'll still be able to have that wedding. You just have to carry on with the wedding while your guests leave.
I want to apologize to you so badly. So would you please come back here and see me? I won't even ask you to give us that $30,000 anymore. Just $10,000 will do. So please.
I'm sorry, Ivy, but just a second ago, Zoe and my son sent me $30,000 to pay back for their wedding that I paid for. So in order to not make things unfair between my sons, I won't be giving you guys any money now.
No way.
Now, have a great time with the remainder of the wedding, and I'll be praying from here that your wedding ends well for you. As for what happened at that wedding after my conversation with Ivy, it appears that both Cody and a lot of the other guests became even more upset with things. But Ivy couldn't get over the fact that she wouldn't be getting a cent out of me anymore. She just sat there on the stage as everyone around her was trying to figure out what to do, crying to herself about how it was all her fault that she wouldn't be able to pay for the wedding. Soon, though, the guests and Cody started to realize that things really were over and gave Ivy the cold shoulder as they all left the wedding venue. From all the videos and pictures I received later that were taken there, Ivy's face was ghostly white and there was not a soul behind those eyes of hers. I would have to say that wedding will leave her with some of the worst memories ever. Luckily, however, the day after the wedding, the staff allowed for them to pay for the wedding then, and so that's what they did, using all of the savings and a loan from the bank. But due to that, they had no money for a honeymoon and would have to get right back to work making money to pay off said loan. I've received plenty of messages from Ivy saying that she wants to apologize to me so badly and that she wants to meet me in person to do so. But to be honest, I don't really want to see her face for some time now. So for the time being, I'll just ignore all her texts and focus on myself, my younger son, and his wife. Once I've had enough time to calm down with those that actually seem to feel grateful for my kindness, then I might send her a message asking her how she's doing. I'm just hoping that when the time comes, she's learned a lot from her actions and will be a changed person that the rest of my family can get along with.
Abigail, listen to this. I've become pregnant.
Congratulations, Nora. So when are you expecting to have the baby?
Fall this year is what the doctor was saying. So around that time, I'm thinking of coming back home to Mom and Dad's house to have the baby.
Now that you mention it, your husband tends to go on a lot of business trips, right? I'm sure being back home with the family will make both you and your husband a lot more comfortable when you're close to having the baby.
That's what we were thinking. So, for the sake of having me back home, would you mind leaving the house and making room for me? I would really like to be back at the parents' house without being all too stressed about anything.
What?
You happen to work at the hospital right now, correct?
That's right, but not as a nurse or anything. I just work in the office and at the front desk.
But as someone who is working at the front desk a lot of the time, you see the most sick people, right? You have to be in contact with all those sick and unhealthy people every single day, right? I wouldn't want to come back to a house where some dirty person who works with all those sick people is living.
Dirty person?
That's right. You seem like a really dirty person to me. Your whole body is probably covered in all kinds of germs, right?
My whole body?
This will be my first time having a baby, so I'm a bit worried about all those germs you have. And ever since I was a little girl, I've always been able to get sick really easily. So I really don't want to be around those that don't take care of themselves well enough. If there were ever to be something bad that happened to myself or my baby because of you, would you really be able to take responsibility for all of that? I'm sure you wouldn't want that on your shoulders, right?
I happen to work in the offices primarily, so I don't see all too many of sick patients. And on the off chance I did come into contact with something bad, I make sure to clean my hands and face very thoroughly every day. There's also never been a moment where I've come home and gotten others sick due to a virus from work. So asking me to leave the house because I work in the hospital is a bit...
Huh? I'm not asking for your opinion on this. I'm just worried about having you in the house in general, and that gets me stressed out. If the pregnant woman is asking you to get out of the house, then your only choice is to leave.
Come on now, Nora.
You have been living with my parents this whole time, right? I'm sure that means you've been able to save up loads of money considering you don't have to pay to stay with them. So you can use that money to get yourself a place and be out of their house. Now get to it and start gathering your things in order to get out before I arrive.
Excuse me, Hazel. I have something to ask you about Nora. You heard about how she's pregnant now, right?
Ah, this is perfect timing, Abigail. I was just on the phone with Nora a second ago talking with her about how she's wanting to come back to the house. I was just wondering if you'd be on board with something like this. I'm sorry to ask you this, but would it be all right if she came home and had her baby here?
I don't mind something like that at all. This happens to be her parents' house after all, so she has a right to come back here. But before she comes back here, is it really okay for me to leave this house? I'm thinking that before she comes back here to have her baby, it would be best if I stopped living with you.
What? Why would you say something like that all of a sudden?
Actually, it seems that Nora is a bit upset about the kind of work that I do. I was just texting her a little bit ago about all of this. She seems to think that because I work for the hospital, I'm covered in all sorts of germs, and that's not making her feel safe. Because of that, she asked that I leave the house so that she could come home and not be worried.
Excuse me?
As of right now, I'd like to do as she's asked, considering she's the pregnant one here. So I'm just gonna stay quiet and leave this house for good, if that's all right with you.
You can't do something as sad as that. There's no reason for you to leave the house.
But in all honesty, the plan was only for me to stay here with you this year, right? The only reason I was requested to come and live with you is because your husband had that bad fall and you needed help around the house while he was being cared for. So we agreed that I'd stay for a year or until things started to settle down for you.
That's true.
And well, your husband ended up recovering a lot faster than we were expecting, right? He's doing so well that he no longer needs to go to the hospital or be cared for. I feel as though you both don't really need my help anymore, so this would be a perfect opportunity for my husband and I to leave now.
I understand all of that, but I don't want you guys to leave. We'd be lonely without you here. Of course, you helped us out quite a lot while living in our house with us, but I found that you were very fun and relaxing to have living here.
And this was all fun for me as well. Deep down, I was really hoping to continue living with you guys forever in this house.
What? Oh, is that so?
But as of right now, Nora's the one who needs to be taken care of the most.
I get that, but you don't have to leave the house just because she's asking you to. Who cares that she's asking you to leave because you work at the hospital? I mean, if you've enjoyed living in our house as well, then there's really no reason you should have to leave. We have plenty of rooms in this house, so please stay with us some more. I want both you and our son to continue living here, please.
What? Are you sure that that's all right with you?
Of course. I'll talk with Nora about all of this. I'm sure she's just a bit too nervous at the moment since it's her first time being pregnant. So as long as all of this is fine with you, then you are more than welcome to keep living in our house.
Thank you so much, Hazel.
You've done a great job of making my mom join your team. I had to hear from my mom that she doesn't want you and my brother out of the house. What the hell do you have against me, Abigail? I guess I can't trust you anymore, can I?
What?
I'm sure you told my mom to say no to kicking you out of the house, right? Perhaps you bribed her in some way? I never thought that a woman in your position would do something so crazy.
Wait a second, please. What is going on right now?
Huh?
I'm sure you're upset right now because I'm not having to leave your parents' house, right? I already tried telling your mom about how we'd be leaving the house and the reasons for that. But she was the one that told us to stay. I never bribed her or anything like that to let us stay at the house any longer.
Then you must have been screaming and crying for her to say no to what I was asking until she finally gave in. Damn, I really hate myself for this. I never thought you'd turn out to be such a thorn in my back, Abigail. Although for the longest time now, I knew there was something off about you. The moment my dad needed help at home, both you and my brother barged into their house and set up camp there. I'm sure you're both there so that you can get all their money in the house from them when they pass away, right? I guess my hunch was right then, and there really has been something off about you.
Would you stop saying such crazy things like that about us? You also happen to be at fault for my husband and I having to come back to live with your mom and dad. So what makes you think you have the right to say things like that to me?
Huh? I'm also at fault for that?
When your dad had that bad fall and needed more people to come take care of him, you just kept on making excuses so that you never had to move back in with your parents or help your dad out. And then you just stopped talking to your mom and dad completely for a few months. That's why your brother and I ended up having to move back here and help take care of your mom and dad. Yet now you're going to start making the claim that we're only here for your parents' money? That's very screwed up of you, Nora.
I never ran away from them. At the time, I really did have a lot going on. I was thinking the moment things calmed down for me, I'd go see my mom and dad and help out.
But it's almost been 2 years now, and there's not been a single day where you've come to help us out. You've been that busy?
That's right, I have been that busy. I've been home taking care of my husband, who is always having to travel for work. But I never once thought that my dad would get better sooner than I would be able to get some free time. I had wanted to help him out so badly. I am happy he's doing better again, but I also feel a little left out.
The only reason he got better so soon is because your mom and I did so well supporting and caring for him.
Huh? Caring for him? All you did was go over to their house to live there. I'm sure the only caring you ever did there was when my mom yelled at you to get off your butt and help out.
What did you say?
Well, I'm sorry to say, but you're not allowed to sit around at my parents' house any longer. Starting now, I'm coming back to live with them before I give birth to my first baby. And then once I have my baby, it will be their first grandchild, and they'll never bother with you or my brother ever again. That will be the end of you trying to usurp the throne and take all my parents' money.
Huh?
There's no reason you should be able to live with your in-laws any longer. I honestly thought that the moment my dad got better and no longer needed any help, my mom would have kicked you out of there. Yet for some reason, you've become good friends with my mom. I was starting to get worried that you'd be able to live there with my parents forever. But as you'll see, I'll get my way and be able to live in that house with them because both my parents would rather have their actual daughter living with them. especially when she's so cute and is about to give them a grandbaby. I'm just going to have to remind them of who I am compared to you is all.
Wait a second. Are you trying to tell me the real reason you're coming home to live with your parents is because you've been afraid of me living with your parents for the rest of their lives?
I'm not just afraid of you living with them forever, but you getting a hold of their money after they pass away. I'm sure you thought that by going to them while my dad was in trouble, they would feel indebted to you and would later give you their money, right? Well, I'm not going to allow that to happen. After having my cute little baby around them, they will notice who really deserves to inherit all their things. They will want to give all their money and everything to me after I show them a beautiful little grandchild.
Your brother and I have never cared about what we've been inheriting from your parents. We just moved in with your parents because your mom needed help taking care of your dad.
Well, they don't need your help anymore, so you should be fine leaving their house for good, right? However, you are continuing to use my mom against me by having her say no to kicking you both out, and that's pissing me off. You are just continuing to ignore what I tell you, even though I'm the one carrying a baby. Also that you can keep living with my parents and get everything from them. This is all because you want their money, their house, and everything else they'll leave in the will.
Why do you think that's the case?
Well, you guys are doing everything in order to stay in their house, and that's because all you can think about is my parents' money, right? However, I'm not letting you guys get anything from them. Not only will I be completely stressed out by having some dirty, germ-ridden woman living in the same house as me, but I'll be scared of whatever else you might end up doing to me. I want the money-stealing, parasitic, house-squatting witch to get out of that house right now. Then we'll be leaving this house as well. What? I never thought that the goal for you coming home to us pregnant would be that. You think that by showing us a cute little grandchild we'll give you all our money after we pass away? Who the hell would want to take care of some selfish little baby of a daughter like that while she gives birth to a child? If you really want to be in our house that badly before you give birth, then go right ahead and live there all by yourself. But while you're around, your father and I are going to leave the place and find somewhere else to stay. Your father and I? What? Is that really you, Mom? Why are you talking to me all of a sudden? That's because I'm here with my precious little Abigail right now. And as I've been here with her, she's looked so upset as she looked at her phone, typing away on it. I was worried about what was going on there, so I ran over and had a look for myself at what she was reading. What? And lo and behold, I had to see my daughter trying to kick my daughter-in-law out of my house once again. I've had enough of that rude behavior you love to cling on to. If that's how you're going to act at that age, then your father and I are leaving this house with Abigail as well. Enjoy supporting yourself in this empty house just before giving birth. Huh? I would never come back to your guys' house to be cared for if neither of you are going to even be there. You and Dad have to be there to care for this baby and I. Is that right? We have to care for our daughter, who never bothered to come back home and care for her father while he was injured? You can't help but run away from caring for others, but the moment you need help, you expect everyone to just stick around? We really messed up when we raised such a self-centered daughter, didn't we? About that. For a while now, your father and I have been suspicious of you, Nora. The moment you graduated high school, you just left the house without telling anyone. And when it came time for you to get married, you didn't tell any of your family and just went ahead and handed in the paperwork. When you suddenly came out of nowhere after all these years of avoiding us and asked to come home to have your baby, we knew something was up. And guess what? The only reason you want to come home and have us care for you while you're pregnant is so that you can get closer to our money. Your father and I are disheartened by that. Disinherited about what? Why would you feel that way about me? The only reason I brought up your guys' money was as a joke. A joke, all right? It was a way of trying to mess with Abigail a little bit, perhaps. So would you stop worrying about that? Just look forward to me coming home and caring for me. I'm sure both you and Dad want to see your daughter and the grandchild she'll be giving you both, right? Nope, not at all. We don't ever want to meet either of you, nor even see you. We don't care anymore about some witch who thinks she can kick out two very important people in our family like you were doing. Huh? Abigail isn't a part of our family. She's just some stranger that your no-good son brought in. Why are you on her side still calling her important? Nora, the only stranger right now would be you. You got married to another man and took his name, giving up the place you once had here. What? Asking our daughter-in-law to leave our house when you're not even our daughter anymore is a bit ridiculous. Remember back when you got married? You told your father and I that you were with his family and would no longer need anything from us again, right? So please go and ask his parents to take care of you as you have that baby. That's... And when it comes to Abigail, she chose to be a part of our family here, so she is the most important person to us right now. She might not be related to us by blood, but she's married to our son, making her our daughter. We feel it's like we traded one daughter for another back when she married your brother. That's the reason why I love having her live here with us and will do anything for her. We've both done very well living in this house together, and she never seems to be upset by anything we do. But then there's you, who seems to think they can just barge back into our house after being away for so long and kick out our precious little girl. What is this? Why are you upset at me? I may have gotten married, but I'm still your guys' daughter. Well, we don't want a daughter that calls another part of the family parasites and tells them to leave. I want you to become well aware of just how much of an idiot you are after today. Abigail, I am so sorry about what happened with Nora yesterday.
Don't be sorry for that. Seeing you get that upset with her was more than enough. Also, hearing her talk about how much you think of me as your true daughter made me so happy. But what are we going to do from here on out? I really feel like it would be best if we stopped living with the both of you.
Well, about that, Abigail, you really don't have to leave the house. My husband and I will be the ones leaving instead.
What?
Oh, but that will only be for a little bit. You'll see. I talked with him about what to do after we had to tell Nora goodbye. And, well, we'd both love to get away for a bit to somewhere nice and warm. So we're thinking of getting a place down in Florida.
Florida?
My husband was talking to his work about how he'd like to retire soon. And after an hour of talking, they settled on him retiring next year with a pretty decent package. So, since we'll be getting a few more months before the official retirement date, we were thinking we'd take things easy. You know, get a breather or two in before the next big move. And, well, that led to us thinking a trip in Florida at a condo would be really nice.
That sounds like a wonderful plan. You both have done a lot in your life, and I feel like you deserve a couple months down there taking things slowly. I think you both made the perfect choice right here.
We had actually been thinking about this for a little bit now. With Nora trying to force her way back into the family, we thought it might be better to just move away for those few months to Florida so that we could avoid her.
I see.
But now that it seems she won't be a problem for us anymore, you can go ahead and enjoy our house while we have fun in the warm sun. This will also give you and our son some time to think about what the both of you want to do next.
Are you talking about us choosing whether or not we want to continue living with you both or getting our own place again?
That's right. If you'd like to stop living here in our house, then you'll have to prepare quite a few things in order to move out, right? You'll have to find a new home and get ready to pack all your things up. I think all that would go a lot more smoothly if my husband and I were out of the house for a while.
Thank you so much for thinking about the both of us as well, but the both of us would love to continue living with you guys. So you really don't need to worry about us any longer and can go enjoy the next few months you have in Florida.
What? So you both really want to continue living with us?
Of course we do. If anything, I should be the one asking you to continue letting us live in your house, right?
Oh, you don't have to ask me for that. I'm so happy to hear that from you. We'll be able to continue on with the life we've all been living here.
We'll be waiting for you two to come back home while you're out of the state. Now please enjoy that condo you both get, and take all the time you need to unwind.
What is going on here? Did my mom and dad really leave their house?
What?
I was thinking now was the time to forcefully get myself into that house and have them care for me and the baby. Yet after opening up the door, it really looks like they both got up and left this house for good. Hey, do you have any idea where they ran off to?
Your mom and dad are in Florida right now. To get away from you while you're going completely insane, they left town and went to spend some time on a condo there.
Huh? They're in Florida?
Your brother and I have also taken a few days off to come here with them, although we'll be coming back soon and getting back to work. Your parents, however, will be here for the next few months, taking it easy and avoiding you.
You guys are with them right now, then?
After they got here and found their condo, they invited us to come down as well. It's been a while since we've all gotten to spend time on vacation, so my husband and I packed our things and took off the next day. They're even paying for a whole trip here as a thank you for always being around them.
So you're all in Florida right now? I came all the way to this house to have my baby, though.
Well, thank God we left yesterday to make it here. Had we run into you before we were able to get to Florida, things would have been a lot more difficult for us.
What the hell? You come back here right now and take care of me. I don't even care about my mom and dad anymore. I want you here doing everything for me.
There's no way I can make it back there right now, and honestly, I don't want to. I'd rather not take care of someone who's sick like you are.
Shut the hell up. You really think you can turn away your sister-in-law like that? I will not let you talk to me like that again. Then what about your own mother telling you to F off? What? My cute little daughter is not going home for you, and she most definitely will not be caring for your lazy butt. You really are such a failed child. I guess you didn't learn a damn thing since the last time we talked. Why are you here again? Why are you always on her side? I told you already that everything about your money was all a joke. I just wanted to come home to you guys and have my baby. I just wanted for you and Dad to take good care of me and the baby once it's born. No matter what you try and say to me now, all I hear is you whining about how you want your parents' money and labor. But luckily, your father and I have made our choice. We will never be going back to do anything for you ever again. No way! Now, we have a boat to ride. I would really like that you stop getting in the way of my family's fun trip here in Florida.
I heard that after Hazel told Nora to F off, she ended up leaving her parents' house and going back to her own house. When she made it back there, her husband then recommended that she go stay with his parents instead. Then he wouldn't have to worry about her and could continue with his business trips. After that, he then took her with him back to his parents' house to drop her off before going back home. Nora never said anything against going to have the baby at his parents' house, and so she stayed there all the way up until after she gave birth. As for Hazel and her husband, they ended up sending a letter to Nora's husband's parents saying that they were thankful for taking on Nora like that. They also sent a box of treats from Florida as a way of showing just how thankful they really were. I'm not sure how Nora will take seeing her parents send her husband's parents a whole thing of snacks as thanks for taking care of her, but I'm sure someday we'll hear about the reaction. When it comes to my husband and myself, just a week after arriving down in Florida to spend time with his parents, we headed back home so that we could get back to work. At first, we were a bit worried to find out if Nora had left the house in a state of chaos after she went in there looking for her parents, but it was actually left pretty clean. That was unexpected for the both of us, considering Nora has always acted like a selfish child. But I suppose that final blow from Hazel really shut her down. Let's just hope that by the time Hazel and her husband are back there, Nora doesn't do anything else to us. Although that probably won't ever happen again since Nora's in-laws have her in their hands now.